Hey everyone, I'm gonna do a quick tutorial over the free monthly budget sheet template. This is currently being offered as a freebie from Thrive Virtually for now, and it is also offered as a freebie if you take advantage of our credit consultation service. So for right now, this is going to be free, so I'm going to do a quick tutorial to give you an idea of how you could utilize this sheet for yourself. So just to give you a quick overview, the top columns are denoted biller, due date, cost, notes, outstanding balance, etc., etc. So the biller one is straightforward. That's who you owe the money to, who you pay the bill to every month. Due date is straightforward as well. That's the date that you have to pay said bill. The cost is that monthly cost for whatever that bill may be. The notes section is also pretty handy. You can put different notes on things that help you keep better track of the bill. And then you have the outstanding balance. How much do you owe total on that credit card or on that loan or whatever? And then you have payment status. I can go into this a little bit later, but there's only four statuses: unpaid, paid, payment not needed, and auto pay. And then payoff ratio, I'll go into that a little bit later as well. And then money allocated. And then we also have some key values over here to the side as well. So let's go over the credit cards. So for instance, the credit cards would be your regular credit cards you would have, or some consumer credit cards that you would get promotional balances on. So for instance, you have all your credit cards here, you have your balances here. So how I use the payment status and the money allocated columns is like this. So say for instance, the bill is due by the 22nd of October. Right now it's the 24th of September. So if you have not paid that bill, that should be set as unpaid. You can change this to whatever you want, whenever you want. This is a very manual sheet. Nothing's really automatic besides a few formulas on here. But to go back to the example, so you haven't paid this bill yet, but what I do for money allocated, so I have two accounts. I have my regular checking account to where my debit card is connected to. We make purchases with that. And then we have our other checking account. So I have another set checking account to where I put money to the side. So say I get paid $2,000, and then I put aside $1,000 for various bills in that account. I put that there to separate it from my main money in my checking account. So that's what I use money allocated for. So whatever way you put aside money to get your bills paid, I would just confirm that you have that there, because there's sometimes I pay bills with just my credit cards and I don't have money allocated for it. So this is just more to help keep track. And another situation could be, the bill is due October 1st, it's the 24th, and you haven't allocated any money like I was saying before. So that's just another scenario you might encounter. So some bills you might pay earlier than others. So this bill could be paid and you could have allocated money, so that means you have actually put cash money towards paying that bill. And then another situation where you could have just paid a bill with a credit card, but these are credit cards, so you can never pay credit cards with credit cards, but that's kind of how that would be used. And then you have your store card. So a lot of people get the store cards, get the 6-month, 12-month, 18, 24-month financing. So let me go into how these numbers right here generated. So these numbers here, you manually put that in. You just go to your statement, your website or whatever, and see how much it costs and see how much that standard balance is. But this is calculated a little bit different. So if we go down to the promotional balance section, so for the first one, Home Depot, we have the payment as 52 a month for one of the promotional balances and 37 for another one. How these values are calculated is like this. So you go into your whatever online thing or your statement to manage your final due date of your promotional balance. And then once you inputted that data right here, you can generate certain information like months until it's due. So right now it's the 24th of September. So the due date for this Home Depot balance is April 6, 2022. So that balance is due 19 months from today. So you need to make 19 equal payments for $1,000 in order to pay that off without having to pay the deferred interest, which is a lot of money in most instances. So basically 1,000 divided by 19 is going to be that. So this right here is generated automatically. The only number you have to put in is this number for how much is owed on that specific balance, and then you just put the due date, and it'll generate this automatically, the month until due date, and that's going to use to calculate your payment. So you have two separate balances with two separate due dates. You want to make sure you're paying the correct amount. So here's what you would pay. The total of this 57 and 37 will be up here in Home Depot for $90.13. So they're gonna ask you to make one payment. That's the one payment you make for those two accounts with those promotional balances. So this would also be done similarly if you have another one. Here's Lowe's. So you might say, for instance, you have your Lowe's on auto pay. You decide to let them withdraw manually from your checking account, I guess the 14th, because it's the day you have set. And then the due dates are over here. You could have not allocated money for that, whatever. That's just like I said, another way to keep track. So that's pretty much how this promotional balance area works. And these two will are going to be connected to the Home Depot one, and the Lowe's one is going to be connected to that one. But you can always change this up and do the formulas the way you see fit. That's just kind of the way I have it initially set up. So to go down to installment accounts, so the installment accounts would be, your accounts like your mortgage, your car notes, personal loans, or medical debt that you have, amount you decide to save per month, consolidation loans you may get, loans on recreational vehicles or boats or things of that sort. So this is going to be like basically balances that can be paid down to zero and not have to be paid anymore. The credit cards, those are monthly reoccurring until you pay the balance, and then they're going to have a bill again if you use them again. But installment accounts can go to zero. So for the installment accounts, it's a similar concept with up here with the credit cards. If you haven't paid it yet, leave it unpaid. If you haven't put money aside for it, don't change it to yes, no, or not needed, blah blah blah. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty similar to the credit card section. So the monthly recurring charges is another section. So these are the charges that you're never going to get rid of unless you stop getting the service. So stuff like car insurance, phone bills, electric bills, water, garbage, internet, and then other various things like maybe storage. You might have Apple Music, Tidal, life insurance if you have that, Google storage or whatever storage you have, your kids' school tuition, babysitting costs. So those are costs that you may have as well. So a key thing with some of these notes here, so most credit cards installment accounts can't be paid with a credit card. Like installment accounts can in some instances. If it's like a medical debt, they'll let you pay that. But stuff like car notes, mortgages, personal loans, usually they don't let you pay stuff like that with credit cards. So that's why in the monthly recurring charges section, this little note CBP WCC, which means can be paid with credit card over here, that basically lets you know that you can pay that debt with a credit card and not have to use your liquid cash. So sometimes you might not have all the cash to pay your bills, so you pay your bills that can be paid with credit cards first with credit cards, and then you pay the bills that have to be paid with cash with your available cash, and then go from there. Just a struggle tactic I've used over the years until my income and my credit has gotten better. But yeah, that's what that part is. And then you have other notes using the notes section. So this is on auto pay, so it's a good time to know when this comes out. If you need to okay, when did this come out the bank account, to go make sure it was or wasn't taken out. So this just notes that you can add. This is something that you can choose to do. And then with babysitting, I have an average of $80 a week. So I just did a simple formula, 80 times 40, and that makes the babysitting cost per week. And then we have the section of budget allowances. So these are things that they're not necessarily bills, but still are going to kind of get spent regardless. So you kind of want to put a budget on those to make sure you don't spend too much sometimes. So $400, this is just an estimate for like a family of four. You could spend more, you could spend less. That's really up to you. And then how much you spend on entertainment. So like going to places for fun, this and that. Maybe even the gas costs, whatever you consider entertainment. And then going out to eat, that could be lumped with entertainment, but that could be separate from people. So it's really your choice to change what these say. It doesn't really matter. And then I have another section for diapers and wipes. This is just really average of how much I think I'm gonna spend every month for diapers and wipes. Like the whole point of this sheet is to be as close as possible to what you think you're gonna spend every month, to give you a good picture of what you're making. And then Yes, the business section is down here. If you have a business as well, you want to kind of keep track of that, keep that in order. So here's where everything gets wrapped together. So here are the key totals. So this right here gives you a consolidated picture of everything that's over here. So this one's pretty straightforward. Monthly credit card costs. So that's just the sum of everything over here. That's just the sum of all those totals. Straightforward. Monthly installment costs. Same thing. Sum of all those totals. So that means the monthly recurring costs will also be the sum of all these totals. And then the budget allowances will be the sum of all these totals here. And then monthly business costs is going to be the sum of the totals down here. So I put monthly business costs because, you know, my business kind of has to pay for our lifestyle. So it's not something separate and autonomous. It's kind of basically another income, but it's just still considered business. So that's why I have that in there. You could make no money from business. It's just an option. It's not going to affect the sheet. So the monthly bill cost is just going to basically be the sum of the credit card, the installment, the reoccurring, and the business costs. That's just your monthly bill cost. But then here's the more accurate monthly bill cost with allowances. So it's your bill cost plus that 720 budgeted allowances. I just kind of like to separate those values so I can just kind of know, okay, this can be moved because I can spend less on groceries or spend less on this and that. So that's why I separate those costs. And then this is just total credit card debt. Another simple one is just the sum of all the outstanding balances for the credit cards, and it's the same thing, of course, for the installment accounts as well. So you know you sum all those up, and then your total outstanding debt is just going to be the sum of your credit card and all of that. So I also added sections to where you can put your amounts for other various accounts that you might have to kind of help you calculate your net worth. So say you have a Robinhood account, you have $3,000 up in there, that could be accounted for right here. Your side business could have $2,000 in the saving account saved up, and then you yourself personally, or you and your spouse could have $5,000 in your savings account together. So your total assets, of course, will just be the sum of these columns up here, and then your total liabilities is just really just this number right here moved down. I just moved it for convenience. And your net worth is going to be your assets minus your liabilities. So yes, your net worth is negative, it's pretty bad, but you're still doing pretty decent, because if you look further down here, say for instance this is a value you put in. Your business brings in $1,500 a month. Your job after taxes, after they taking out your check every 2 weeks, for a total month you make 3,124, right? And then other side income, you might sell a product, you might do a services, you always make about 750 a month for that. So your total monthly income, which is the sum of basically this right here, is just gonna be this. So your net monthly income. So this is the number that matters the most. This number basically says, do I make more money than I spend at the end of the month every month? And this will give you an idea of, okay, I need to either change, so I need to either make more money or I need to spend less money somewhere. And this number is just purely going to be your total monthly cost with allowances. Your total monthly income minus your total monthly cost with allowances, and that is your net monthly income. This is how much money you have after you've saved, because you know I have something over here for savings. So you know I have it on here as default to say 10% of everything you make. So if you make $5,374 a month, you need to be saving $537 every month. But you can also easily change this value by just going here, and let's say you want to change it to 15%, so that's 0.15, and now you save $806 a month. So you're still probably pretty good, because you know you're still in a positive and you're not losing money. But you also gotta just also consider that a good chunk of your money is just going to savings, but you need to consider your savings as another bill, because you want to try to actually save money. So it's pretty straightforward, and I would just ignore everything up here. These values up here were just used to generate the drop down boxes over here. So don't worry about those. I wouldn't touch those, and just leave them alone, and the sheet should be fine. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. I hope this sheet is helpful to you. I did forget to explain one part. I forgot to explain payoff ratio, so I'm gonna go over that real quick. So basically, payoff ratio is supposed to be a number that denotes how valuable something will be paying off, how valuable would it be to pay off a whole outstanding balance to you? So you be like, okay, what should I pay off first? So the payoff. So for instance, based on how payoff ratio work, the most beneficial bill to pay off all at once would be this $500 amount. And basically, the ratio is just a ratio of how much it costs over how much you owe. That's pretty much all it is. So the higher the number, the better it is for you to pay it off. And that's just when I say better, it is better in the long run. It helps you be better to avoid interest and things like that. So the second best one would be this credit card. Then the third best would be this one. So you may see these numbers over here really big for some of these same as cash ones, but same as cash is different. So the reason that is different is you're not charged any interest on that. So it doesn't benefit you anymore paying it off earlier. But if something's being charged you interest, avoiding the interest is your benefit for paying off something earlier. So I would ignore the same as cash. I mean, I would ignore the payoff ratio numbers over here because they're gonna always look big for same as cash. They're gonna always look big. So I would just ignore it. Now the numbers do apply down here with the installment account. So for instance, this personal loan, let's say 7,500. So the reason that it turns green, I think I have it set to where if the number is like over 3, greater than 3, then it'll turn green. So that kind of lets you know, okay, look at these first because those are high. So this one right here, this is not the same as cash. So this one will probably be the most beneficial bill right here to pay off. You'd save $150 a month only paying $200 versus saying, versus saving $45 a month paying off, $3,000. So it's a big difference. So that's what the payoff ratio is for. And then there's other things that show like, okay, this might be something else I need to pay off next. And just one last tidbit. So you notice that some of these dates have different colors over them. So basically, the blue just means that the bill is due within 7 days. So it's the 24th. It's within 7 days from the 24th to the 28th. So I think if we take it back as far as even to the what's it called? Probably about the 23rd. Okay, no, that's old. So we take it to the I need to go forward. Not 28th. To the 27th. We can keep going further. Probably about 29th. It should still be blue. So 7 days from today, if it is that, it's going to turn blue. And then it only turns red if it's past today's date. So that means the due date is before today's date. So pretty much if it's already passed, that lets you know, like, say for instance, we got this one set to the 8th. All right, so yeah, that would have been paid already. Boom, boom, boom. Your next bill cycle is the 10th. So you switch it to the 8th of October, and then you will just make that unpaid and make this no. And you just do that. You just do that every single month. So this is, like I said, a very manual sheet. This is just something that you have full control over. That's yours to help keep track of everything. So again, thanks for watching.